let's say the federal government does something ridiculous like legalize gay marriage, and you're a Christian county clerk working in a marriage license office, and this is all hypothetical, and you refuse to follow the federal law, and the matter gets brought to the district attorney, whoever that might be. And how, as Christians, do you think we should deal with all those situations?
Well, let me start. I will have to disagree slightly. I guess it was at lunch. There was a comment made that 9 people in a black robe now rule us. That's a little inaccurate. 5 people in black dresses rule us. It just takes 5 votes. It doesn't take all 9. And when they legislated policy, and that's what they did. If you ever read their opinion, they don't base it on the Constitution. They don't base it upon law. They don't base it on anything. They start in the very first paragraph saying, we think it's a better policy for homosexual marriage to be legitimized, therefore we're going to rule this way. That's what they say at the very beginning. But I'll answer your question in 2 ways. One, specifically addressing the situation that you arose, and 2, giving you an example of what I face. As to the clerk, it just boils down to, are you going to do what God says, or are you going to do what man says? And the clerk will probably lose their job either immediately or through election if they take a stand on God's truth. We are not saved from the consequences of standing on the truth. And I think you just have to make a decision anytime you hold office that you're going to stand on the truth, and what consequences come. And that would be my advice to the clerk, is don't succumb. As far as the DA prosecuting, that kind of leads me into my second part of the answer. DAs have what's called prosecutorial discretion. Y'all need to know who your DA is. Y'all give us a lot of authority, whether you know it or not. You give us a lot of authority. We can choose to prosecute anything, or we can choose not to prosecute anything up to and including murder. It's our choice, unfettered. So you better know who your DA is. So to deal with that, you elect a good Christian man as DA, and that will be make sure that they at least don't get prosecuted criminally. That decision had a lot bigger ramifications than a lot of people know. It had ramifications on my professional life. You say, well, Craig, you deal with crimes. How can homosexual marriage deal with criminal aspect? Y'all know what assault is? Guy gets drunk in a bar, punches someone in the nose, usually over a woman. That's an assault. There's a subcategory of assault called domestic assault. And it carries the same punishment in Tennessee. It's a misdemeanor, Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to 11 months, 29 days in jail. But a domestic assault carries more punishment. You forever lose the right to own a gun under federal and state law. You have restrictions on your movement that you wouldn't otherwise have under just what we call simple assault. And there are other enhanced punishments. So the social engineers on the Supreme Court decided that we now have homosexual marriage. I disagree with them. What do I do with domestic assaults? On one hand, I don't prosecute them because I don't recognize it as marriage. On the other hand, if I don't prosecute them, then the sinner, the immoral guy, gets less punishment. What do you do? Well, the reason where I came down in my evaluation was the reason that there's enhanced punishment on a domestic violence is to recognize and protect the sanctity of marriage. And I said there's no marriage to protect. So I don't prosecute them as domestics. And that is one of many decisions like that that you face that you just wouldn't see And the point is, you need someone who, and I'm not holding myself up as the gold standard. An example of my life. I certainly fail. But you need someone who will do an evaluation on those terms and making those decisions. If your specific situation came to me, I'd pat her on the back, give her a hug, say, go at it. I wouldn't be prosecuting. Any other questions?